Hello and welcome to yet another Adrenalin Shot, your short, sharp injection of valuable information. And with me today, I have China expert David Thomas. Welcome, David.
Thank you, Dawn. Great to be here.
Thank you. And I'm looking forward to having you on the show this morning. David says your company, whether it's big or small, must have a China strategy. And unlike Western democratic countries, China has a clear, succinct and well-documented strategy. It's a planned economy. So when it says it's going to do something, it almost invariably does. And so that gives you, as a business owner, clear direction for the sectors, the industries, and the opportunities to focus on. So there are very many short and medium-term opportunities for small business owners, entrepreneurs, and investors just like you. But getting your business involved in China is rarely a simple process, and that's where David Thomas comes in. So David is a keynote speaker, a thought leader, and a business futurist. He inspires, motivates, and educates global business leaders, entrepreneurs, and investors about the massive potential offered by the new China. And he takes them on a journey to identify and build and facilitate long-term business and investment relationships. David says that his unique value is his ability to identify business trends, opportunities, and challenges in China. And he regularly travels around China working with local partners and investors, as well as hosting Chinese delegations and missions of investors, SMEs, and entrepreneurs around the world. So it's with great pleasure that I introduce you to David today. I'm going to start the clock, David, so you've got your 5 minutes ready to rock and roll. There we go. So David, as a China specialist, and having obviously worked on both sides of the Australia-Chinese relationship, what do you see as the main opportunity for Australian businesses to do business with the Chinese?
Inbound. So as I said, or you said, China has a going out strategy, which is about investing overseas into foreign countries. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing a big flow of capital, resources, and people from China into Australia. And I think that every Australian company, whether they have an interest in doing business in China or not, has an opportunity to get involved in this big wave of opportunity coming from China to Australia in particular sectors. And I might as well just quickly mention them. Yeah. The food and agricultural space, healthcare, education, and tourism. Those big three services sectors, and also real estate. We're already seeing plenty of that. And then in the services sector, financial services and other services that Chinese entrepreneurs and investors and business people need when they come to Australia.
Yeah. So I guess in the past, it was always my impression that China was an export market for us, but you're actually saying it's now flipped and it's now more of an inbound market.
Well, I'm not saying it's not an export market, it still is, but I'm saying that for every Australian business, the short-term, low-hanging opportunities is more inbound than outbound.
Okay. So what do you see as the main challenges then for Australian businesses to take advantage of these opportunities?
Becoming China ready. In other words, looking at their marketing, looking at the way that they position themselves for the China market, looking at the way they build their website, their marketing collateral, starting to employ Chinese people in their business so that they can interface and communicate with Chinese customers and clients, and starting to develop a passion themselves for the China/Asian opportunity, which of course has to come from within. It's not something you can just switch on. You actually have to have a genuine interest.
And so something as simple, practically getting their website ready for China, what would that actually look like for them?
Well, I think it could be translated into Chinese. You could reposition your services for inbound Chinese tourists, migrants, entrepreneurs. I don't need to tell you the numbers that are substantial, including students in universities. There's large numbers of Chinese people coming to Australia. And in terms of your website, it wouldn't take you very long to reposition it for a China market.
Okay, interesting. What about three things, let's say, that businesses here could do to be more successful when dealing with the Chinese?
Well, firstly, I think it's around understanding hierarchy. Asian culture is very hierarchical and we're very egalitarian. in Australia. So we celebrate the egalitarianness of Australia, but if we're dealing with Asian consumers and clients and families, we have to understand that they line up in a more hierarchical kind of way, which means we need to change the way we think and the way we act so that we can start to become more interested in the way hierarchy works and the way decisions get made. And that's a big topic, but that's one of the ways. And another way is around communication. And asking open questions and being more open to longer term type communication, where you're not just looking for quick answers, you're trying to tease out the opportunity and develop more open way of communicating, because we're very direct communicators. We say yes, we say no, we say, are you interested, yes or no.
Would that be Visa or MasterCard?
Yeah, well, Asians tend to communicate in a less direct way, and we have to start thinking a bit more about that. And then thirdly, I think it's around building relationships, not transactions. We get very focused in this country in doing deals, doing transactions. Asian culture works better when people are building long-term relationships. And I have a saying that you need to take 3 cups of tea with your Asian clients. The first cup, you're a stranger. The second cup, you become a friend. And the third cup, if you ever get there, you'll become a trusted part of their family. Most of us don't have the time to go through that process and look for results too quickly.
Yeah, I see that quite a bit. And you're right. It for them, there's that whole getting to know you phase and, feeling you out, whereas we're really there to just do business, aren't we?
Yeah.
So if a business wanted to get started in China, where would they start? What would you suggest they did to start with?
Well, I think that the starting point is here in Australia. There are very large numbers of Chinese people here already. As I said, they're students, they're migrants, they're entrepreneurs, investors, business leaders, people with properties in your local area. There's no excuse to find Chinese people that you can deal with here in Australia right now. And you should start building those links into those communities, and there's nothing to stop you doing that. Secondly, I think you should hire a Chinese intern to your business. So you've somebody in your company who speaks Chinese, who can deal with Chinese customers. That's the second thing you need to do. And then the third thing you need to do is to look at your marketing collateral and think about how that would be perceived by a Chinese customer or client, and start thinking about the fact that they don't speak English, their first language. They read and speak in Chinese. And it'd be very simple for you to just go about a transformation of your front-end marketing to suit a Chinese audience.
Fantastic, David. You heard the alarm go off. We just a little bit went over, but that's pretty good. We got a lot into that. And I'm sure that viewers will be really interested in understanding that this opportunity is absolutely all around them if they can get themselves lined up and start making some inroads, as you suggest, getting an intern in, looking at their marketing and starting to build relationships in the Chinese community. And I'm guessing that one of the best ways that people could do that is perhaps get, first of all, in touch with something like the Chinese Chamber of Commerce, if there's one in their city, so that they could start to at least explore that. Would you agree?
Absolutely, yes. Or the Australia-China Business Council in most parts of Australia. And actually, we've recently formed an association called the Australia-China SME Association, which is designed to help smaller businesses get in for an opportunity.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, David. I've really enjoyed having you on the show, and I know that our viewers will have as well. And I hope at some point in the future we can have you back again.
Thank you, Dawn. Anytime. I'd be delighted.
Thank you.